passage is on the need for teaching practical skills, both in schools and outside of them. And I focused mainly on first aid and trauma patient care. That was also the subject of my practical skills passage. So this is my education about first aid, trauma patient care, and what I need to know. So first off, this presentation covers some sensitive topics, especially for people who have experienced a traumatic injury or seen a traumatic injury before. So if you feel this might be a problem for you, feel free to step outside. There's no graphic, there's no blood, no gore. There are a couple of graphic images though. Okay. First off, it's helpful to say, like, what is a traumatic injury? So capillary bleed, that's you skin your knee, doesn't really matter. A venous bleed, maybe you cut yourself with a knife. By the time you get into an arterial bleed, that's a traumatic injury because it's something that requires immediate medical attention. So other examples might be broken bones, head trauma, anytime there's air inside of the chest cavity, being melted by alien ray guns, that kind of thing. So, now a lot of people think, I've never seen this kind of injury. I've never been injured like this. Why should I care? And the reason you should care is because if you are between the ages of 1 and 44, which for the dumb kids is all of you, then trauma is the leading cause of death for people in your age group. After 45, it goes into more fun things like heart failure. And, So now that you all have crippling anxiety about that, here's a fun fact. The PDR in the US, which is the preventable death rate, is right up around 30% as of 2017, which is around 30,000 preventable deaths per year from traumatic injuries. A preventable death is considered one that if an individual with some training, or even without, had been there to maybe put the patient into a recovery position or hold pressure on a wound, if someone had been there to do that, that patient might have survived. So, you got to imagine some of these people, they got to be like out in the middle of nowhere. So that number must be at least a little bit skewed. But if you look at the number of people living in those areas, it's pretty low at this point. And also, if you look at the breakdown of how these injuries are happening, primarily transportation, some falls, and then the other very small percentage of them are those random accidents that can happen. So this is about to be as graphic as this presentation gets. This guy survived. I want that to be super clear. This is a car on motorcycle accident. That's the guy now. After the accident, it's okay. But these people have just pulled him out from under this car where he was trapped. There's a long video. I suggest you watch it if you are interested. It's pretty cool. You see one guy come up, and then another guy, and a couple more people stop, and they all work together to pull him out from underneath. So it's a pretty interesting video to watch. Well, you'll notice now that they've got him out, none of these people are doing anything. Which is what I just talked about with the preventable death rate. No one's there to help. So in this case, there are people helping, or there are people there. There's no one helping. And there's kind of two reasons for this. The first one is everyone's favorite global awareness passage topic, the bystander effect, which is basically if you have a big old group of people, one individual is much less likely to help someone if there's an accident. There's 20 people standing around here. Not a one of them has checked his airway, put him in a recovery position, done anything to help. And the second reason is because of a piece of your brain called the amygdala. I promise this is more interesting than it sounds like. I see you falling asleep in the back there. The amygdala is basically the command center of your brain. It looks out, it sees something dangerous, and it goes into its list of pre-recorded responses. It goes, speeding car, and it comes up with an instruction manual of how to deal with that situation. But the problem comes when it sees this. Because that doesn't match any of its pre-recorded responses. So it's got to go in, it's got to search through, click on that little war tab. Oh my Jesus Christ, when it does, it gets to this screen right here, which is a pre-recorded list of every experience you've had, every thing you've ever been told. And if you haven't had any first aid training in the past, it's not going to find the instruction manual anywhere in there. So while it's frantically searching for what to do, you're going to freeze. Now, it's a little different if a first responder comes upon this situation because they know what to do. They know they check for massive hemorrhage, they treat for shock, they look for bleeding, make sure the airway's open. They have those pre-recorded responses because they've had that training. So they don't freeze. Now, it's all well and great that I can stand up here and talk to you, but because people are falling asleep, I need 7 volunteers to come up. Just come up and volunteer.
That's what's Riley, go, get up there.
Stand up on that side.
When you try your best,
Okay.
but you don't succeed.
This is a poster from the Homeland Security Stop Bleed Initiative. This is a trauma kit that's going to be relevant in a second. Now, this here's Bob. He's been in a terrible accident. Forget the fact that he didn't have a head, it doesn't matter. I'd guess that Bob has about 2 minutes starting from the time I started talking, but now that I've finished talking, he has about 1 minute and 59 seconds. So I'm going to step over here while they deal with that situation. So this thing that's in the case there that they're fumbling out is called a Gen 7 CAT tourniquet or combat application tourniquet. It's the same one carried by most military and law enforcement officers in the U.S. It's seen a whole lot of use in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's actually brought back the tourniquet where when I was in Boy Scouts and took the first aid merit badge, they told us never put a tourniquet on an injury because you're definitely going to lose the limb. But the CAT tourniquet has a 98% success rate in stopping bleeding. And they have been left in place for up to 36 hours without losing the limb. So definitely not 100% lost. This injury that he's got here, that is a femoral artery bleed. The femoral artery is one that comes up through the top of your thigh. And that's the main artery that runs through your leg. If your femoral artery is slashed, you can lose blood at a rate of 1.5 liters per minute, which, fun fact, the average human adult has about 5.5 liters of blood. So you can imagine losing it at 1.5 liters per minute is going to be a tiny bit of a problem. Now, that may seem fast, but that was exactly 2 minutes, so hands up. Step away from the body, please. All right. All right, can we all get a round of applause for our That's right. That's right. Okay. No, that's cool. All right.
Go wash your hands. Go wash your hands.
Don't wipe that off on your clothes. It's a little statement.
Don't you dare get any blood on these chairs.
All right. So, real quick from the audience, can I get a raise of hands? Like one thing that you think they did well.
Apparently, we did nothing well.
You guys did great at working together as a team.
They did work together. They all did it at the same time. What else?
Putting pressure on the wound.
Someone was putting pressure on the wound. Also, right?
Yeah, she's just going to wash her hands. Yeah, thank you.
They did react fairly quickly, so they did not freeze in place for very long.
There's a lot of things we did not do well.
Okay, so that's the next thing. What's the things that they could have done better? They could have. So the tourniquet, that's one main problem with this poster. You need to put a tourniquet 2 to 3 inches above the site of the wound.
Yeah.
That's cool. Which just goes to show why you need to get this kind of training. I'll give you a hint. It's one other thing. Thank you. 911. I know you can't do that in actual death because that's a prank call. But calling 911 is the very first thing you should do, apart from putting pressure on the wound. If you've got 7 people here, you've got one person calling, a couple people applying pressure. All right, you guys can do something. So, I presented a lot of problems in this presentation and not a lot of solutions. So what can you do? And the short answer is get involved. There are a lot of programs that provide courses. I recently just took a CERT course which included the Stop and Bleed. That course includes basic first aid, how to use tourniquets, wound packing gauze, all that sort of thing. The NOLS, which is the WFR, the Wilderness First Responder Course. A couple people taking it? The Committee for Tactics and Combat Casualty Care, that was a 9.5-hour course that covered tourniquets, wound packing, and then also care under fire. American Red Cross, we had basic first aid and CPR. Get involved.